All right, Richard, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Goodfellas, where we talk about the top 15 tight ends for Week 8. Before we get started, let's review how we did on Week 7.
Well, our top 15 tight ends, we had Austin Hooper at 15. He didn't play, so that left us with 14 players. Of those 14, 7 made the top 15, the real top 15 in standard leagues. So we were 7 of 14.
All right, well, 50%. So too bad
It's been tough with tight ends. It's been difficult, but I think I got a good list this week.
Well, let's get started for the top 15 tight ends for Week 8. The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
All right, and number 1, George Kittle at Seattle. Again, this could be Garoppolo's going to have to pass a lot to keep up with Russell Wilson, so that could bode well for George Kittle. And number 2, Travis Kelce, home against the Jets. Good matchup, but as we've seen before, Kansas City may not need to pass that much to beat the Jets. And number 3, Darren Waller at Cleveland. He looked really good this week. He's got a favorable matchup. Darren Waller looks like a receiver out there. And number 4, Mark Andrews, home against Pittsburgh. Tough matchup, but like I've been saying, Lamar Jackson may need to pass a little more this week to keep up with Ben Roethlisberger. Hence, Mark Andrews might benefit from that. That Pittsburgh defense, Ryan, they're ranked where? Against the pass.
6th in the passing game, so it's going to be a tough.
6th? Yeah, and I'm sure they're pretty high against the run as well. It's just a good all-round defense. And number 5, Hunter Henry at Denver. We talked about Hunter Henry being underappreciated, and then he put up a big stinker. I think with the way Justin Herbert is passing the ball, Hunter Henry will get his, and he should have a good Week 8. And number 6, Jonnu Smith at Cincinnati. Florida International University's Jonnu Smith. We think, he's got a very favorable matchup. Cincinnati is bad against the pass. Where are they ranked, Brian?
25 against the pass.
Cincinnati, everybody's been able to pass against them. So Tennessee, favorable matchup, but, they might run a lot with Derrick Henry. And Jonnu Smith didn't have a great week, but we still like him in our top 10. And number 7, a guy that's rising, Rob Gronkowski. Good matchup against the Giants. We know Tom Brady likes to go to him. That's his guy. Ryan, you got anything to say about Rob Gronkowski?
He looked great, right? 2 TDs he had last week. And he looked like he was just getting back into himself, like that hunger and the desire.
And I think it's, that also the chemistry with Brady. Brady knows where he likes the ball placed and et cetera. And Brady's a great quarterback, right? And number 8, Mike Gesicki, home against the Rams.
Boom, boom, boom.
He gets Tua. He gets Tua this week. Ryan, what do you have to say?
Well, I guess our biasms is coming out because we like Gesicki here. But, Gesicki is right now 7th among tight ends with 281 receiving yards. He's number 11th in fantasy production. So if Tua lives up to his billing, sky's the limit for Gesicki.
I agree. If that offense opens up even more, not that the offense had been bad against with Fitzpatrick. I think Chan Gailey, was using Fitzpatrick perfectly. But if this offense opens up even more with deeper passes, et cetera, I think Gesicki's he'll be a top 5 tight end. And number 9, Eric Ebron at Baltimore. Tough matchup, but, we know Ben Roethlisberger likes to go to Ebron. He didn't have a great week this week, but he gets enough looks, enough targets to make him a viable top 10 fantasy tight end. And number 10, Noah Fant, who'll be home against the Chargers. It's a good matchup. Chargers haven't been that great against the pass. Where do they rank, Ryan?
They're ranked 23rd against the pass defense.
Yeah, so Noah Fant, we'll see what Drew Lock can do. But we hope Fant is healthy now, and we think he could definitely give us top 10 production. At 11, Evan Engram, home against Tampa Bay. You know how I feel about Daniel Jones, but Evan Engram is good. Yes, he dropped the pass he should have had last week. We see how Daniel Jones likes to go to Evan Engram, so we're going to put him in our top 15. And number 12, Hayden Hurst at Carolina. Again, Matt Ryan leads the league in passing. He passes a lot. Hayden Hurst is Atlanta's number 1 tight end, and they got a good matchup. Carolina ranks where, Ryan?
Carolina,
Against the pass?
10th against the pass.
Okay, so Carolina, well, overall as a defense, they aren't very good. So I think that might be more one of those situations where people run against them a lot, and so they don't need to pass. But I think it's a good matchup for Atlanta. Number 13, Jimmy Graham, home against New Orleans. Jimmy Graham is the guy that, the Bears like to lean on in the red zone. He's become one of Nick Foles' favorite targets, but that offense isn't very good. But Jimmy Graham just sees more targets than the most tight ends. At 14, TJ Hockenson. It's a guy we like a lot. He's just playing that Indianapolis defense. He's home against Indianapolis, but that's still a very good defense. We don't know how Stafford is going to do this week, so we lowered TJ Hockenson, but he is a talent. And at 15, we have Robert Tonyan, home against Minnesota. I mean, what has happened to Robert Tonyan, Brian?
Yeah, he disappeared. So perfect for right around Halloween, right? After catching 5 TDs, everybody was like, this is the guy.
I think he's lost some value in the last couple of weeks because before the bye, everybody thought, hey, this Tonyan guy, he could definitely be, a top 10 tight end, some top 5 tight end for the rest of the season. It looks like, Aaron Rodgers is looking for him. And then he's had the last 2 weeks, so it could have just been, hey, he just had a few good weeks. Rodgers just happened to find him those weeks. I mean, if he's going to have to put up more production than he has the last 2 weeks. I think right now we have him at 15, and he's barely holding on. Right now I see him as a borderline top 15 tight end, which is a big change for how we saw him just, 2 weeks ago. That's how it goes. I guess that's how it goes in fantasy.
It sure does.
So anyways, that's our top 15 tight ends for week 8.
Thanks for coming on here and sharing the top 15 tight ends. Good luck in your fantasy matchups. Thanks for coming on here and sharing, helping us all set our lineups. So we appreciate that.
No problem. My pleasure.